Okay, what if you could buy pretty much anything you wanted? The newest phone, a designer bag, for just 1% of its retail price. I know, it sounds completely nuts, right? Well, today we're going to pull apart a business model that claims you can do exactly that. We're going to get to the bottom of how a 99% discount could possibly work without the whole thing collapsing. And there it is, 99%. You see a number like that and you have to stop and ask, wait, is this for real? Because, just on the face of it, how does that math even begin to work? So let's start with their big promise. That's the hook, the core claim that gets everyone's attention. So for this explainer, think of us as detectives. We are going to follow the money, we're going to break down the steps, and we're going to try to find the engine that's supposed to power this whole thing. So first up, what do you, the user, actually have to do?
All right, section 1, the user experience. Before we dive into all the complicated crypto economics, let's just start from the beginning. Let's look at the simple steps you would take if you wanted to try and snag one of these incredible deals.
The process itself looks surprisingly straightforward. It's really just 3 steps. First, you find something you want, say a $2,000 gadget. Step 2, you pre-order it by paying just 1% of that, so $20, using these things called digital shopping points, or DSPs. And then, and this is the really critical part, you wait. That's it. You don't make more payments, you just wait for the value of that $20 pre-order to somehow, magically, grow by 100 times. Now, this might make you think of an old-school layaway plan, and that's actually a pretty good way to start thinking about it. But there is a massive difference here. With traditional layaway, you have to keep chipping away at the price, making payments out of your own pocket. With this pre-order model, you make one tiny payment up front, and then the system itself is supposed to do all the heavy lifting, growing that value all on its own. Which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? Where on earth does all that extra value come from? To answer that, we have to pop the hood and look at the engine. So let's get into section 2 and understand the 2 key parts that make this go, DSPs and DSCs. So first up, we have these digital shopping points, the DSPs. The easiest way to think about these is like loyalty points, or maybe tokens at an arcade. They are not a cryptocurrency you can buy and sell on an exchange. They only have value inside this one specific shopping ecosystem. They are the vehicle you use, but they are not the engine itself. Okay, so if the DSPs are just internal points, this is the engine. The value of those shopping points is backed by a real-world cryptocurrency called digital shopping coins, or DSCs. This is the asset that's designed to be traded, and its value is supposed to go up and up as more people flood into the platform trying to get those 99% off deals. And here's the crucial link between the two. Every single one of those internal DSP points is backed, one-to-one, by a tradable DSC coin. The whole theory is just classic supply and demand. The more people that want those amazing deals, the more demand there is for DSPs to pre-order them. That, in turn, creates a ton of demand for the DSC crypto that backs them, which theoretically drives the price way up. And that's how your little 1% payment is supposed to multiply in value. But look, anybody who has followed the crypto space for more than 5 minutes knows that what goes up can come crashing down really fast. So what happens if the DSC coin tanks? Well, that brings us to the most complicated, but maybe the most important part of this whole model. Section 3, the safety net. How does the system claim to lock in and protect your value? This is the big fear, isn't it? You put your money in, hoping for a deal, and the market just collapses. So how does the platform say it's going to protect you from those wild, unpredictable crypto market swings? Well, they claim to have a 2-part answer for that. Okay, you're going to want to stick with me here because this is where it gets a little dense. The whole safety net really hinges on 2 big ideas, a locked value mechanism and something called a planned inflationary minting strategy. Sounds complicated, I know, so let's break them down one by one. Now, this is a pretty wild concept. The whole strategy is to give the DSPs of early users a ridiculously high value, at least on paper, before the cryptocurrency even hits the public market. So if you look at this timeline, for the very first people who get in, each one of their DSPs is assigned a locked value of $50,000. That's just an entry in a ledger. That value then drops for later adopters, all leading up to the public launch, where the actual coin, the DSC, is planned to start at just a single penny. Okay, let's walk through this example really slowly because this is the absolute core of how this is all supposed to work. So step 1, you spend $5,000, and for that you get 10,000 DSPs.
Now, step 2, the system locks the value of each of those DSPs at $50,000, creating this enormous on-paper balance of $500 million for you. That's your safety net. Now, here comes the really clever part in step 3. When the actual DSC coin launches to the public, you're immediately given $5,000 worth of it. That's the cashback, designed to let you get your initial cashback out. The rest of that huge $500 million balance, it stays locked. And the plan is to pay it out to you bit by bit over time from newly created coins. So it's a way to turn a small investment today into a huge long-term payout promise from the future.
So let's just boil that whole safety net concept down. It's basically a three-part strategy. First, you get a cashback in the real crypto, so you can, in theory, get your initial money back. Second, a massive locked value is created for you just on the books. And third, that massive value is promised to you as a slow drip payout over time, funded by the system's growth and the creation of new coins in the future. So now that we've gone through all of that pretty complex financial engineering, let's pull back and look at the big picture in our last section. The company doesn't just pitch this as a way to get cheap stuff. They frame it as a win-win-win model for every single person involved. Right, so the vision here is to create this self-reinforcing cycle, like a flywheel. You've got three main groups. You have the buyers, who get these unbelievable deals. Their excitement attracts partners, who bring in even more buyers and also suppliers. And then the suppliers, they get to sell massive amounts of their products in bulk. In theory, each group's success fuels the others, and the whole thing just keeps spinning faster and faster, growing the value of that central DSC coin. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Is this a truly revolutionary new way to shop, one that's cleverly using cryptocurrency to unlock a new kind of value? Or is it more of a financial house of cards, a complex model built entirely on a promise of future growth that it absolutely needs to pay off the massive promises it's making to today's users? The answer really depends on whether that growth engine can keep running fast enough to keep all those promises.